All right, y'all, if you've ever been wondering how to land a job in influencer marketing, how to even just get into this field, then this video is for you. I did not go the traditional route when it came down to influencer marketing. I actually got a degree in psychology. So take it from me, I didn't get this job by connections, by even having a game plan. I actually started out working in the mall. But now, look at me, I'm literally managing creators for one of the biggest companies in the world. So today I'm gonna give you guys tips and just advice on how to get into influencer marketing. We're gonna talk about the agency route. We're gonna talk about doing it independently. So this is gonna be a really good video. So make sure that you're subscribed to the channel because you don't want to miss all these good gems that I'm going to be posting for the rest of this month. So let's start from the beginning with my own personal journey. Promise me you guys won't skip it because I'm telling you it's really cool. So I didn't go to school for influencer marketing, PR, none of that. Didn't even go to school for journalism. I went to school originally for psychology. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was in college. I just knew I wanted to get through it. A lot of you guys who've been following my account for the longest, you guys know me as the thrift guru. So I started thrifting a lot when I was in college. And from there, I realized that I had a thing and a passion for fashion. So I kind of ended up doing that. I remember immediately once I graduated, I just got a job in behavioral therapy, but I realized I wasn't really happy doing it. My mom and dad at the time was really freaked out because I ended up just quitting that job and taking my local job at the mall. Yes, your girl was an assistant manager at Hollister. That's what I was doing. So as you can see, the only degree I had at the time was a psychology degree, and I was working at your local mall. But I enjoyed it. It was something that I loved. It was something I had passion for. And I think I always had like a creative eye. So it was just really helpful to do things that pushed my creativity. So fast forward, the pandemic came and everyone got furloughed, so we kind of lost our jobs temporarily. And from that point, I was living with my parents, so I ended up just hopping on TikTok. I always heard about TikTok. I was already doing thrifting and fashion all the time, so I was like, why not share my talents on TikTok? So from there, I hopped on TikTok. I became a viral sensation. Everyone loved the videos that I created, especially just talking about sustainability, how to live a more sustainable life, but also how to like upcycle things that you already have in your home. So TikTok reached out to me. I ended up working with them, and from there, I thought, why not manage other companies' TikToks? Like, it was fun doing my own, but I almost wondered if I could do the same thing for brands. So that's exactly what I set out to do. I ended up landing a job working with Hypebae, an editorial company, and really I managed their TikTok accounts. I know right now you're like, Symphony, what does this have to do with anything as it relates to influencer marketing? But I promise you, we're almost there. So I ended up landing this job being a TikTok coordinator. I had to move to New York. I currently live in Atlanta, so I moved out there and I would run this editorial publication's TikTok accounts, and it was really fun. I got to experience so many things. I got to work with other influencers, hint, hint. I got to network with so many other companies and brands, and I realized that, wow, this could be the next up and coming thing, because as you guys know, influencers wasn't really a term that was used like 5-8 years ago. There were some popular people, but there was never a program or a dedicated marketing team set aside for influencers, which is like really beautiful to see now how the world is changing, how companies are changing. Like, everyone knows the importance of influencers. So if you guys are looking to get into this field, I'm telling y'all, it's a gold mine. As long as social media is around, there will be social influencers around. So now I'm at this editorial company, I'm managing TikToks, but I'm starting to miss home. So I decided I wanted to move back to Atlanta. But then at this time when I was living in New York, the company that I now work for, Red Bull, they would always throw and host these cool events, and they would invite media, which was currently me working for Hypebae. They would invite media out to their events. And when I went to those events, I kind of just fell in love with the whole idea of Red Bull and the company itself, their energetic way of doing things. So I was like, yo, this is a company I could see myself working for. And at the time, I just wanted to move from New York back home to Atlanta. So I saw that they had an opening for an influencer marketer. So that's what I ended up going out for, and I got it. And you guys are probably wondering like, oh, you probably got it because of the connections. But honestly, I think I got it because of all the things I was willing to try. So even when I got to Hypebae, they asked me, hey, what experience do you have running a TikTok? I just said, well, I run my own. I help my friends with their content. So I think I can do this. And I was just really confident in that. Same thing when it came down to Red Bull. They were like, yeah, you worked for a publication, but do you think that you could actually manage and host a relationship with influencers? So now here we are, 5 years since I worked at the mall, 3 years since I worked at Hypebae, and now 2 years with Red Bull being an influencer relationship marketer. So super exciting. Claps for me, tiny claps. So basically that was the journey. That's my story, how I got into influencer marketing. And really now I love it so much. I could definitely see myself doing this long term. I love this field of work that I'm in, but I also see other people opening up their own influencer marketing agencies. Is that something I can see myself doing? Possibly in the near future. I still think that there's things that I'm learning right now that I still just want to get my feet wet and just learn all there is to know about influencer marketing in general. So I'm just gonna give you guys some of my knowledge, my tips, and my tricks on how I landed this job, and also what you guys can do if you want to go more into this field. Okay, so real quick, let's break down what influencer marketing is. I feel like that's such a buzzword now. You hear it all the time, but you're still like, okay, what is it? So the best way that I can describe it is I believe that every company, every brand, every business, they have a marketing budget set aside for them or a marketing division set aside for them. So whether you see your Nikes, your McDonald's, your whatever, Kava, they all have money and budget set aside for marketing. Whether they do B2B marketing, whether they do marketing, which is like putting posters on the door or on the window or on your car. But a lot of times people are realizing the importance of influencer marketing, having an influencer promote the brand or promote the product. So a lot of these times this can be done by building relationships. This can be done by campaigns. I don't know any of my people out there watching this who actually get brand deals. So there's so many ways to do influencer marketing and how to go about it. So today I'm going to be talking about two different lanes that you can get into. One is the agency side and one is the brand side. And then ultimately I'll give tips too on how to do this if you wanted to do it on your own. So let's start off with the agency side of influencer marketing. So the agency manages the campaign on behalf of the brand. So you're like the third party liaison between the brand and the influencer. So this one is typically what you'll see people do a lot of. So if you were an influencer and a brand like Sephora reached out to you and they wanted you to do a campaign, but Sephora typically wouldn't be the person that reached out to you. Sephora would hire a third party agency to do the reaching out. So they know all about the analytics, who would be perfect for this campaign. They would get sent a budget from Sephora, and then throughout that budget, they'd pick the influencer that best fits into that category. When it comes down to this, you're possibly going to be juggling a lot of clients. You're going to be having to pitch out ideas to creators. You're going to be having to network with a lot of people, and you're going to be having to send out contracts. So with agency work, I won't say it's the glitz and glam of it, but it is something that's still admirable what they do, especially just locking in these big creators. Imagine getting Drewski or Kai Cenat like signed in on a contract with whatever energy drink or with whatever food or beverage product, right? So it's a really cool, powerful thing that they do. They still do get incorporated into like the events that are being hosted. So if you were hosting a creator or an influencer at a concert, let's just say Beyonce's concert just went by, right? And everyone was going to the cowboy thing. So I saw that MAC Cosmetics had their own like activation towards it. So if you wanted to work for an agency who does influencer marketing, then you would have to go to the activation, to the concert, and help host these influencers as well. Typically, the good thing about this is that since the influencers or creators are getting paid, half of your job is done. If you just get the creator to sign the contract and pay them what they're owed, you're pretty much good, because after that, you kind of peacefully, respectfully bow out, and then the actual brand and the creator goes on about their journey. That's the agency route. So I do have a couple of friends who do agency work. I get mixed reviews from it. You know, honestly, there's some of them that love it, some of them that are like so-so about it, but it is a cool route. I would say if you want to get your foot in the door and just want to know a little bit more about like influencer marketing in general, I would definitely go the agency route, because I realized that a lot of people who did agency influencer marketing before what I did, their knowledge is like on 10. Like they know how to talk to creator, they know how to work with them around their budget, they know how to get them in on an idea and on a campaign. So I feel like that's definitely a huge advantage. Whereas me, I came in more on the brand side. So speaking of that, now we're going to do brand side influencer marketing. This part's really cool. So this is when you work within the brand itself, producing like long-term creator projects. You even help with activations and build outs. I know some of you guys went to Essence Fest, so a lot of those activations and build outs, that would be someone who did brand influencer marketing. So for example, Shea Moisture. So Shea Moisture's build out was one of my favorites at the whole entire activation. They would have someone who does influencer marketing. Not only would they get the influencers to come to that activation, they would have a big play on how that activation is built out and what it looks like, even what the campaign itself looks like. So you're a little bit more hands in the weeds. You unintentionally become the face of the brand and the creator, making the content bigger than it could ever be, right? So this is a really big and important job, because it's a make or break. If the content is not well received, it has a lot to do with you and less to do with contracts and just getting someone in on a campaign. So both agency and brand influencer marketing are valuable, right? They're just kind of two different vibes. One is more hustle, the other one's more volume. So it really just depends on the person, you know? I could see myself doing agency, but it's just so much fun getting in the weeds. As you guys can see, I'm a super fan of creativity and just coming up with creative ideas in general, which is why I personally am a fan of the brand side marketing. And I could definitely see myself going further into doing it on my own and just having my own business, but way further down the line. So now to the most important part of this video. How does one get into influencer marketing? Let's get into these tips. Tip number one, start by learning the ecosystem. Like, have you actually took time to study how these brands are collaborating with these influencers? I know y'all have seen Poppy activations, how they were sending those huge vending machines to influencers. I think you've even seen like how Popeyes has been doing collab brand deals with artists and with celebrities and giving them their own meals. Raising Cane's has done a collaboration with Drewski on his Could Have Been series. You have to study and just know how brands are targeting influencers and how the content is going about. Is it well received? Is it not? I know we kind of all saw the debacle debacle with Sydney Sweeney and the, what was it, American Eagle campaign. But that's a perfect example of if influencer marketing is not done properly, it could cost everyone, even the influencer themselves. So the more you understand the way a campaign works or doesn't work, the more you become valuable in this. And also, again, remember you guys, I do one-on-one consultations. So if you ever want to know more about how to become an influencer, how to get into influencer marketing, definitely feel free to hit me up. The link will be in the description box down below. Now back to tip number 2. Get experience. Even if it's unpaid at first, you know, everyone's looking for money and I understand that. Sometimes experience is the best payment. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. So a lot of the times y'all might actually have homies who are already popping on Instagram. What if you just work with a small business and like say you have a homie who does like workout videos, go to a gym and just say, hey, do you guys need like more pull and more eyes on this gym? I have somebody who's an influencer who does workout content and fitness content. I think that they would be a great fit for doing a campaign with this gym. And you'd be surprised. It could just be a whole little thing right there, but you have to test it out. Sometimes you can even test it out on your own with using yourself, you know, like say you wanted to be a food reviewer and you went to a small mom and pop shop restaurant, right, that sells pizza or cookies. And you're like, hey, like I love your cookies in this cookie shop, but I feel like you could get more eyes on here if you guys looked into influencer marketing. Is that something that you ever considered? Just starting the conversations would be a huge go-to because you'd be surprised. Like I said before, a lot of these small businesses, they have a budget already set aside for marketing. No one's taking advantage of it. No one's using it. So they end up just using it for other things. So go out there, get experience, even if it's not paid. This third tip is the most important because this is the one that helped me build your own platform, even if it's a small one. But just being a content creator yourself makes you 10 times more likely to land a deal than someone who's just working behind the scenes. And don't get me wrong, a lot of my friends in the game who are social media managers, strategists, they don't have huge followings. They barely even go on social. But I just know for me, that was a huge advantage. Whenever I got into those interviews and I said, hey, I manage my homies' accounts, I manage my own account, and they saw the numbers and they saw the viral posts that I created, it gave me that much more validity. So definitely go out there. Like I said, if you want to make like a little concert review, you're already going to concerts anyways, make a spam account just showing all the concerts you go to. If you're someone who loves to eat dessert, make a Instagram account just showing all the dessert restaurants in your hometown. But definitely do something just to give yourself a little bit more validity when you go into those interviews and it make you feel a little bit more confident because people want to hire people that they can relate to. And I know one of my biggest advantages was that Symphony, you're an influencer, so we know that you'll be able to relate to the influencer. Number 4, make connections on LinkedIn and Instagram. I know that this is really cliche, but I'm telling y'all, LinkedIn is so amazing for influencer marketing, especially right now. Take the time after this video, log into your LinkedIn and just type in influencer marketing. I bet you a whole bunch of stuff pops up because y'all, this is a gold mine. It's only getting bigger. Companies are only noticing now of how important this is. Like this is only gonna get larger and larger in scale. So don't be afraid to connect with people on LinkedIn. When it comes down to Instagram, when I say connect with people on Instagram, I mean connect with influencers. Whether they have 20K, 30K, follow them, engage with their accounts because this is really just building your Rolodex of people that you know. Because imagine going into an interview and they're saying, hey, you know, what do you have to offer us? Imagine being able to say, hey, I already have a list of 20 plus influencers, some who are foodie content, some lifestyle, some fitness that I can already incorporate to your brand. They're gonna hire you in 2.5 seconds. Trust me. So I would do that. I would start building and making connections. And my last advice, because this is also something that I did, is I would apply for entry-level positions. You don't always have to go for influencer marketer. You could just do, I think it's called like an influencer coordinator. So you can just coordinate the talent to the agency. You can be the person that you just go out on the hunt for the influencers and relay that back to the agency. A couple of my homies do that, but also you could do something that might not be the same job description, but still in the same realm. So for example, like with me, social media intern, you could just be a social media intern. You could be a TikTok coordinator because from there, you're already gonna have to work with influencers and you're getting your practice in there. Don't feel like you have to be dead set on becoming an influencer marketer. You could just do anything around that realm. So to end it all, I truly do feel like influencer marketing is one of the most exciting fields to be in right now. I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon, especially with just like the incline of influencers and content creators in general. So if this is something that you guys are really liking and being interested in, let me know. Comment down below if you want more advice and tips or what are some of your questions. I'll do my due diligence of responding to it in the comments because I think a lot of people want to know like the real depths of how far that this will go. And there's clearly money in it. So where the money is, that's where I want to be. I don't know about y'all, but that's where I want to be. So I hope this video was helpful to somebody out there. Like I said, again, if you need any more advice, definitely don't hesitate to let me know. Have y'all been taking the time to look at the rest of my videos? I promise I give so much tips on social media in general, content creation. Like I said before, if you want to book a one-on-one consultation with me, I'm open for that. The first one's free. So just come talk to your girl and we can get going on whatever your dreams or goals or ambitions are as it relates to social media, content creation, and marketing. Well, I love you guys so much. Of course, you guys know I cannot forget to tell you God loves you, and I will see y'all in the next video.